Hello, my name is Brian Bunton and I'm a pioneer field agronomist in Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri. Today I want to talk to you about why I as an agronomist have confidence in the Enlist E3 weed control system. First of all, Enlist brand herbicides are safe. Did you know that soybeans are naturally tolerant 23 times more to 2,4-D than they are to dicamba? That fact alone makes handling Enlist brand herbicides a lot safer than handling other herbicides such as dicamba. When I also think about Enlist brand herbicides, I think about physical drift and volatility, some of the two main issues we've dealt with in the dicamba herbicide system. Enlist with Colex D technology, coupled with the correct nozzle, can actually reduce physical drift compared to 2,4-D, traditional forms of 2,4-D, by up to 90%. And when we think about volatility, Enlist 1 and Enlist Duo are up to 96 times less volatile than 2,4-D ester. Corteva research shows that compared to dicamba herbicides, Enlist is about 236 times less volatile. When you think about all those numbers, we can have confidence that Enlist is safe. One example of that would be the fact that non-Enlist soybeans are not considered a susceptible crop to off-target movement from Enlist herbicides. The second reason why I think Enlist is a good option for farmers is that it's simple. Enlist 1 and Enlist Duo are not restricted use pesticides. And what that means is that you don't have to go through a specialized training like we have with some of the dicamba products through the last few years. While we do recommend going through the Enlist Ahead training online and learning about some of the different recommendations we make to maximize the use of Enlist, you're not required by label to sit through an annual training. There's a lot more simple things on the label with Enlist. There's no time of day cutoff. As I film this video, we're 5 days away from the June 30th national cutoff of dicamba. There's no national cutoff with Enlist. We can spray anytime through the R2 growth stage, regardless of what the calendar says. For my geography, where there's a lot of wheat and double crop beans, that means we could spray Enlist up to 6 weeks longer than we could spray dicamba herbicide, which makes Enlist just a lot simpler. When you think about adjuvants in the tank, with Enlist, we don't have to run volatility reduction agents. We don't have to run drift reduction agents. All we have to do is run AMS. We recommend spraying Enlist 1 with glyphosate or glufosinate, and every adjuvant that you need to spray Enlist brand herbicides is in the jug except for AMS. So when I think about Enlist, I think it as being a lot simpler than some of the dicamba products. There's also some language on the dicamba labels about endangered species and having additional buffers. There's none of that language on the Enlist label, so we don't have to worry about 57-foot omnidirectional buffers. And we talk about sensitive areas such as trees or pastures. We only have to leave a 30-foot strip instead of a 240-foot strip, or maybe a 310-foot strip, depending on what county you're in. Bottom line, Enlist is much, much simpler than some of the other products out there on the market. The third reason why I think Enlist is useful to farmers is that it's flexible. Like we've already talked a little bit, Enlist can be tank mixed with glyphosate, it can be tank mixed with glufosinate, and so it makes it very, very flexible. When I think about products like dicamba and glufosinate just don't make a very good tank mix partner, because in order to maximize Liberty or glufosinate, we need to run lots of AMS. And it's a big no-no to run AMS with the dicamba product. So we can never spray dicamba and Liberty together, where we could spray 2,4-D and Liberty together. The other thing we touched on a little bit with the flexibility is just when can we spray Enlist? Like I said, there's no time of day cutoffs. We can spray next to non-Enlist fields. We can spray past June 30th. We can spray past the R1 growth stage, which is the cutoff for dicamba herbicides. So when you think about all of those different things, think about the tank mix partners we can run. The fourth reason, and perhaps the most important reason why I recommend Enlist, is because it's effective. The University of Missouri did a study in 2020 with Dr. Kevin Bradley. It was a bare ground study where we compared different herbicide programs that were out there on the market. And what this study showed was that Enlist plus Liberty was the best tank mix option for spraying large, tough to get, resistant water hemp populations. Now in this study, you can see that we used 8-inch water hemp, which by the way are off label for both the dicamba and the Enlist label. The point of this study was just to show if we get a situation where weeds get away from us, which one of these programs is going to be the most effective. And what the study found out was that Enlist 1 plus Liberty was one of the most effective options for tough, tall, hard to get water hemp. As you can see on the slide, dicamba and Roundup at a higher rate were slightly more effective than Enlist 1 and Liberty, But what you got to remember is that with the new label of dicamba, the maximum rate we can run with XtendiMax is 22 ounces post, and the maximum rate we can run with Ingenia is 12.8 ounces post. So when you look at just the legal applications, Enlist 1 plus Liberty had more effectiveness than 22 ounces of XtendiMax and a quart of glyphosate. Bottom line, Enlist is effective on tough to get weeds. While Liberty and glyphosate may work on some smaller, easier to kill weeds, when we get large weeds, there's nothing better than Enlist 1 plus a quart of glufosinate. So that is what we're recommending if we get into tough situations for weeds. If you can take a look at a little bit of our internal data, again, it just supports that Enlist works really well with glyphosate, and that as we get to taller weeds that are even 6 to 8 inches, we really recommend putting Liberty within the tank. It seems as though adding Enlist 1 and Liberty have a synergistic effect, and they both work really well to take out these tough to get weeds such as palmer amaranth, water hemp, mare's tail, and giant ragweed. The final reason why I think that growers should use Enlist is that it's affordable. That's what everybody wants to know. You got this new program on the market. It seems to be effective. It's safe. What's it going to cost me? In addition to being a pioneer agronomist, I also work on my family's farming operation. This year, our April planted beans, we planted some A-Series Xtend soybeans because it was much safer to spray dicamba at that time, and we knew we'd be able to spray dicamba before the June 30th cutoff. However, in our geography, much of our beans are not planted till June, and all of our June beans are pioneer seed beans that are also have the Enlist technology. So as we're shopping for chemical this fall, with the addition of the changes of the label, in the dicamba program I need to run Ingenia, I need to run a vapor reduction agent, I need to run a drift reduction agent, I'm required to run branded glyphosate. When I compare that program compared to the Enlist program, Enlist 1 plus a quart of glyphosate plus 2 pounds of AMS to the acre, the Enlist program is much cheaper than the dicamba program when I think about all the extra stuff I have to put in that tank mix in order to be legal and safe. Even when we compare Enlist 1 plus glufosinate, we're going to see a very, very similar cost to the dicamba program plus glyphosate. So bottom line, this program is very competitive in the marketplace, it's very affordable, and it's going to be safe. So to summarize all that, if I was talking to a grower, I would remind them about 5 things about Enlist brand herbicides. It's safe, it's simple, it's flexible, it's extremely effective, and it's very affordable. If you have questions about Enlist brand herbicides or Enlist E3 soybeans, I would encourage you to talk to your local Pioneer field agronomist, your local Pioneer product agronomist, or your Corteva crop protection territory manager. I hope that you guys have a great growing season this year. You stay safe, and I wish you the best. Thank you for listening.